Friends, welcome back to another Field and Garden podcast. It is your friend Lisa Mason Ziegler, and I really appreciate you dropping in. And we have a fun one today, friends. We are going to be chit-chatting here with the first line of our customer service team. These are the people that are the first ones to get all the incoming anything. And I'm just so excited to introduce them if you've never met them before, and then for us to hear about their job. But before I jump in and introduce them, hi, everybody.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
So if you're new to the Gardener's Workshop, I just want to let you know that you can learn more about us, all the work that we're doing over at thegardenersworkshop.com, where we have, oh my goodness, online courses, free resources, our online garden shop, our sister podcast you can connect with, which is Seed Talk, which Layne, who is here today with us, is the brainchild behind that, and we co-host that together. And we just have a lot of great information over there. So if the time does ever come that you need tools, seeds, supplies, or to expand your horizons, we appreciate when you think of us. So out of the gate, I'm going to kind of tell you how I met each one of these individuals, and then I'll let them introduce themselves. And so I'll start with Rhonda first, just because I've known her the longest, I think. So Rhonda Graves actually answered the call many years ago when I didn't understand that for-profit businesses really aren't supposed to have volunteers. I was like totally naive to that. So I put a call out for people that wanted to volunteer on the farm and kind of did a little kind of like interviewing process. And Rhonda was one of those. And I was so excited when she answered. And she was like the champ of the day. Y'all, I do the funniest little things. It's like I walk fast around my farm when I'm showing people around who keeps up, who falls behind. Rhonda was on it all the way through. So she ended up helping on our farm. How many seasons, Rhonda?
Oh, I don't know. Probably at least 4 or 5. I think it was more like 3 or 4, and then it was kind of occasionally when you needed us to dig. What do we dig? Tuberoses, or peonies or whatever. Yeah.
So that's kind of how our paths cross. So Rhonda, tell us kind of the story of how you got here and now where you are today.
Well, I had planned on coming to a workshop you were doing at the end of the street at the church. You and Amy, I believe, were doing an organic. And it ended up, I wasn't able to come because of a death in the family. So then you put out that request for Friends of the Farm. And I thought, well, fun. I could pick her brain. Of course, that's how most of us want to end up here, is to pick your brain. Of course, Lisa does not have time to have her brain picked. But anyway, you get what you get at lunch and whenever you can ask questions. But there were a whole bunch of us that showed up that first day, and I think there were like two of us that lasted more than 1 year, if that. But yeah, I would come once a week, and my job generally was cutting the rows, the paths. So that little lawn, that go-getter lawnmower would just tear up those rows, and that was my job. And then we did bouquets and all kinds of stuff like that. And then I guess 3 years ago, you gave me a call and asked if I thought I'd want to work. And apparently Suzanne said, Rhonda doesn't want to work, or at least not regularly. And I thought maybe I didn't. But anyway, I thought, well, that could be kind of fun. So I started on January 6th of 2020, working on the farm in the warehouse. Surrounded by seeds and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, started there. And then, the pandemic hit. We went home for a while, still kind of working. But then just the whole business blew up with everybody wanting to grow and have something pretty in their backyard. So yeah, I think I've known you for probably at least 13 years now. So,
gosh. I had forgotten that we call her Jaws, our little lawnmower. I still use that lawnmower to cut the pathway. Steve just keeps patching her up.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. How Rhonda, and so Rhonda is now the warehouse manager, and she's the one that keeps everything flowing over there. So next in line is Layne. Layne, funny enough, was watching a Facebook, I think, where I just mentioned in passing that we needed more seed packers. And that was a job that back then was done. We had local people that would pick up their work and then take it home and pack seeds. And I just happened to mention that on the Facebook, and lo and behold, she applied. And Layne, I'll let you tell the story about how you had already had my books and stuff. You didn't even know that we were here this close. So Layne is our seed manager. And so Layne, tell us how that all happened.
Okay, it's kind of a long story, but
You
I
can just
actually
give
have
us the highlights.
Okay. So I actually have a background in engineering. I have a degree in bioengineering, and I worked in construction forensics for many years. My husband and I are actually from California, born and raised. And during the pandemic, we had the opportunity to start working entirely remotely. And we took that opportunity to relocate to Williamsburg, Virginia. We have an acre of land here. And one of the first things I noticed is that the growing season was a little bit shorter now that we were in Virginia. So I'm in zone 7B, but I had only ever lived in zones 9B and 10A my entire life. So I had started researching on my own what flowers could winter over here to try to extend the season and get really early bloom. So I was doing all this research and making my spreadsheets, and I came across an article about Lisa, and lo and behold, she actually had already written a book on the subject. So I was able to pause my research and I started following her. And like Lisa mentioned, I was watching a replay of a Facebook Live that she did. And she mentioned they were looking for remote seed packagers, and it was a part-time position. I could do it from home, so I could easily fit it into my schedule. And I just thought, how funny would that be to be sitting at home packaging seeds? It just sounded like the most fun job, to be surrounded by seeds all day long. So I applied, I got the job. And then shortly after that, I actually was promoted up to seed manager, and everything's kind of exploded since then, like Lisa and Rhonda have said. So the operation has grown a lot. And I'm also now, as Lisa mentioned, the co-host with her of our other podcast, Seed Talk with Lisa and Layne. Make sure to subscribe to that, by the way, if you haven't already.
She's prideless over this. Oh, that's such a great story. And so Layne is an avid gardener, seed starter, on top of everything else. And we're just so happy to have her on our seed team. And so some of you may already had contact with Ann. Ann and I met because she came to how many workshops here on the farm? And was it one or two?
I came to Flower Farming Boot Camp in July of 2018.
Oh my goodness.
June of 2018.
Oh my goodness. I can't even remember. That was so long ago. So that's where we initially met Ann. And then when she's a flower farmer. And as our paths just kept crossing, when the opportunity came up that we needed, we learned how that we could have virtual team members. Ann was on our short list for a lot of reasons with our experiences with her. And so she was hired on. Tell us, Ann, so how did you come to be here, and what was your initial job, and how has it kind of exploded?
So I found you through YouTube because we decided to start flower farming, and I had never been able to grow a seed into a successful transplant. And I was like, we're going to get nowhere. I knew I had sales experience, marketing experience, customer service. I knew if we grew them, I could sell them, but I didn't know how to grow them. And I really had never successfully started transplant. So I found you through a search in YouTube on seed starting, and seed starting Saturdays came up. And you were the first person I'd ever experienced that broke the steps down, explained in such a clear way that didn't overwhelm me. And I saw soil blocking, and I was like, we just might be able to do this. So I found you through that, and then started stalking you on the internet and listening to all of the podcasts you were appearing on through podcasts at that time. You didn't have your own yet. So you were I would go into Apple Podcast, type in Lisa Mason Ziegler. I ordered cool flowers, and then I ordered your little cut flower garden book, and I had the Babs book, and just started doing that. And then got the incredible opportunity to enroll in flower farming boot camp. But I have a story. I missed it by 1 hour, and you guys closed it out. And I called and emailed and begged Kelly to let me in.
And it worked.
It worked. There was a handful of us at that week, that class I mean, we're like, who begged? And a bunch of us put our hands up. Graciously let a handful of us in. And so from there, we started growing, and that's how I found the Gardener's Workshop. And it just was the first, your classes on YouTube were the first ones that just, would you say, turning all brown thumbs green?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the rest is history. So I came on board to start with customer service, answering incoming emails and routing them as needed, and answering questions as needed to the rest of the team. And then I've sort of filled other roles as we've moved along. And it's been exciting to write a couple blog posts in the last year. It's incredibly gracious for that opportunity, following your footsteps as a published writer. And so that's where I am here today. But my primary job is the customer service aspect of just routing incoming emails, getting answers, and helping our customers and the TGW team just connect.
Awesome. So what you may not realize is these three work so much together. Anne is the receiver of a lot of the information. Beyond the emails, Rhonda's the one that receives phone calls. She answers the phone, not all the time, but majority of the time at the warehouse. And, customer service has always just been at the very top of it's super important to us. We're not only Southerners, that we're people. Layne, are you a Southerner yet?
I don't know if I've been inducted yet.
It's coming. But we all have a heart for gardening and farming and helping other people do it. Rhonda is like a master gardener teacher. She teaches courses and does programs and all that kind of stuff. And so we all have that kind of heart. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the stuff that comes in that kind of happens. Can anybody think of like maybe the funniest thing that's ever come in, the funniest question?
I can think of one.
Go ahead, Layne, while Rhonda and Anne are thinking.
Yeah, you guys can think. So there was a customer that wrote in and they said, "Hey, great news. My Sunday mixed celosia is blooming already. The bad news is that it's a purple petunia." And so we don't know if it was a stray seed from the pelleting machine at the seed supply company that got in there or something like that. But that was quite a funny email to receive and to work through.
I do remember laughing at that.
Yeah.
I do remember laughing at that. So, our goal is to really help people. And so we're not teaching people via phone and email how to do something from A to Z. But Rhonda, when somebody gets kind of stumped on something, you and Anne both just really get some questions. What kind of questions do you get, would you say, Rhonda, when people call in? I know they sometimes have trouble maneuvering the website or any of those things, right?
Yeah. Yes. And some people don't have computers, so that's always an option to call in and we can place their orders. But we get a lot of questions about timing. And of course, that varies wherever they are. And that's sort of a funny part because quite often we'll get little notes on the packing slip or in the orders that say, "I am not in zone 5." And they're hardiness zone, but for our shipping zone, if they live in Florida, they're in zone 5. So if they live in Virginia, they're in zone 1. But their hardiness zone is probably 7. So that's kind of funny because it confuses people. Shipping zones, hardiness zones. But I think some of the things we get, people call and just want to tell us about their gardens or, the success they've had with their flowers. And we have a nice lady that lives up in Maryland who she just grows her flowers in the front yard and has a table and puts bouquets out with a little note on there and just watches people pick up a bouquet and walk down the street with a smile on their face. So we just get a lot of positive stories, I think.
Yes.
Occasionally problems, but
yeah. And so that lady, I remember that she gives them away, right? She's not selling them. So she does it to gift them. Yeah. I mean, it's always just so great to hear positive stories, right? I mean,
right.
And then of course there's the shipping snafus. And what kind of stuff comes to your mind? And that, I mean, Anne really helps people get into their courses, but I mean, all that kind of stuff, right?
I don't have so much as funny, hilarious stuff that's just beyond like people being confused, think they ordered. But the ones that really are powerful are the stories that come in that I forward to you to share with the staff on the resilience and hope that people have found through seed starting and growing cut flowers through some of the hardest, darkest periods of loss. Yeah. And those are the ones that just touched me the most. And it's for all of us, the hope that watching a seed break through and grow into a flower. There's so many stories, and we've all, the team gets those stories that just remind me that this is just something powerful that we're doing, that we all need. And so many of them that just talk about the healing aspect of seed starting and growing flowers and what they've learned through, your classes and the Gardner's workshop and being able to buy, that's just given them resilience to keep going. That's been probably one of the greatest rewards of this job for me.
I'm just so glad to hear you say that, Anne. I mean, that's kind of the driving force that got all this started, right? I mean, the Gardner's workshop was born out of me starting, because I am a mouthpiece, right? I mean, I love to talk. I was starting to do programs, and then people wanted the stuff, and I wanted to help them so much get all the stuff that I was telling them that I used. That's kind of how it all just kind of spiraled. And now, yes, it has become this wonderful business that we have to keep doing business to keep the business rolling, right? But our mission has really just stayed the same, to help people grow flowers for personal fulfillment, as well as to start, scale, or expand a business or whatever they want to do. And so Anne gets questions about whether it's seed germination or how to start it. And then she kicks them over to Layne. And Layne usually is the one to kind of give a lot of the answers for that.
Yes.
So what kind of stuff do you hear about, Layne, besides petunias blooming from the Sunday celosia?
So the most common question I would say I get seed starting wise is people needing help germinating snapdragons or celosia. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you say, Anne? And yes. So these email chains can be really long, and I'm a very thorough and detailed person. So my responses can be more like an essay, but the customers really appreciate it. And the thing that is unique about our customers, I think, is they will take the time to reach back out to us after and say, this worked. This is what I did, X, Y, and Z, in case it helps anybody else. What you said worked. It's really rare to have people take time out of their day and sit down and provide that positive feedback, because a lot of times I feel like when people reach out to a company, it might be something negative, but that's not the case for us. And so we really appreciate, we have the loveliest customers of any company, I think.
I have to agree with that. What would you say, Rhonda?
I would say that we had a customer the other day, and this was definitely a shipping snafu. She ordered, and they have a farm, so she thought she could ship to the farm, and she doesn't have a mailbox. If you don't have a mailbox and the mailman does not know that you live there, you haven't established that mailbox, you cannot get mail. So her packages came back to us, and we ended up getting them back to her residence. So we reshipped and got them. And the next week we got a box of the tastiest, most delightful, salty pecans from Georgia. They were just wonderful. And I mean, she didn't have to do that. I mean, she said, thank you, but I mean, that was just the sweetest thing to do. So that happens occasionally here. Not that y'all have to send us treats or anything, but
there's not a problem
it's not a
consuming them
problem.
if they do.
That's true. I do recall an instance where a cheesecake was delivered.
Yes.
And they were so anxious, these ladies, to dig in. Lisa knows what I'm going to say. She grabbed an extremely dirty knife out of a drawer and she said, I'm going to rinse it because Layne is watching. And then they proceeded immediately to cut and divvy up the cheesecake.
Without
that
having
was
read,
a surprise from a
having read the
customer because
label.
everyone had just been so helpful. She was like, you all are getting a New York style cheesecake. But it was very funny, Layne, because you were the only one that was concerned it was like half consumed before you could even stop everything.
Yeah, that's what was funny is we all thought it was from Anne because
Right.
that was the name on it, but that was actually in the to section, like who was shipped to. And with a mouthful of cheesecake, when someone said it's not from Anne, and then Lisa with her mouthful said, then who is it from? And she still proceeded to swallow. So yeah.
People are so shocked. I definitely see these coming when they come into me. They're so shocked at the timely response. They're also so excited not to get a canned automatic response back to them. We get that feedback all the time. I'm shocked that you wrote me back. And they're just, and I know, Lisa, that's been very, very important to you, that personal touch for your customer service. But we have a team that if something goes wrong, whether it's shipping or confusion, everybody jumps on board to help figure it out, right down to Kelly and sorting it out. I mean, it's customer service is top of the mind for everybody here on the team. And that's just not just us here, but also in the warehouse. And we love our customers.
That also goes for our courses too. I mean, I think our students really love that they can dial a phone number and get help. I mean, as long as you call when the office is open, I think that is another significant part. For me, I feel like, first off, our team is the most important asset that we have in our company, and I mean, that's been a goal of mine to make everyone feel valued. And I mean, this is a team. There is no hierarchy. No one is asked to do anything that I don't do or haven't done. And I can remember on the farm, that was always the thing. It's like, yes, you're going to, we need to shovel manure that's composted today. And let me just tell you, I shoveled it for 10 years by myself. You can do it, but customer service is everything. I know it is for me when I go places. That's what makes me remember. And we just feel like we have such a great team. And so, Rhonda, we are embarking on moving into taking more phone orders for people that need that additional help, because as a how old am I? I'll be 62 this year. As a 63, golly.
No, that's me. I'll be 63.
Ron and I are almost the same age, but I understand for people that don't have youngsters at home to help them with technology, it doesn't take much to mess up. I mean, I had to email to Kelly this morning about a snafu. Well, guess what, friends? It was my computer. It wasn't the website, or it wasn't this or that. It was, operator error. And so we want to provide that service. So we don't really talk about that very much. But we do have what is it? 1-888-977-7159 is our toll-free number. And you can call in during business hours to place an order, especially if you're having technology challenges. But Anne is always there to help if, she reaches out to Kelly. Kelly is our technology manager, and she keeps the rest of us, working. And oh my goodness, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? So
can I say something about the phones also?
Yes.
For anyone that is feeling shy about calling in some instances, the phone rings and it's like people scatter, like they want to make themselves scarce. Rhonda runs to the phone. She loves talking to customers. So if you're wanting to call in and you're feeling shy about it, don't be shy. Just call in. Rhonda will be very happy to talk to you.
It's true. There is no dumb question, right? Except the unasked question.
Yes.
So And I'll go first to Rhonda. So what's it like to work here, Rhonda?
It's a lot of fun. I was only going to work 2 days a week, y'all.
Sorry, Charlie.
Till we made that transition into this building. And now here I am 4 days a week, and we have to make another transition maybe. So we'll see. No, it's a lot of fun. We have a great group of people. And like you said, I mean, people just step up, and if they see something needs to be done. And that's, to me, that's the biggest thing is if you need something done, I mean, they don't wait to be told, they just do it. And there's always, we just talking about that today, that was problem solving and making things go smooth, but it's more like whack-a-mole when the phone rings or there's a delivery at the back, somebody's got to pick that up. So it's different every day. So I also do all the ordering. So I try to make sure that things get in so they can go out. If you ever have something that you want to order and we don't generally have back ordered. So if you didn't get it in your package, anyway, we don't back order. We ship everything. It's not on the website or comment sold unless we have it. And if it's not there, you can get on the wait list. And as soon as it's there, we'll tell you and you can order it then. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Different every day.
It's kind of taken a long time to get here, hadn't it? I mean, when you think back, oh my gosh, when I just think back just 3 or 4 years, and it's new every day, like she said, it's like every day there's either a new idea that I don't know who, somebody thinks up all this new stuff that we should do. Not sure who that person is, but
he's right there or there.
So there's always new challenges, and it just seems that we attract people that kind of see that as a challenge too. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't imagine going to a job and doing the same thing all day long, you know? So that's really great. And we all have put customers first. So that makes a difference. So Anne, what do you feel about it? And, you know, Anne is remote. So Anne is not here in local, and Rhonda and Layne and I are. And we have one other remote worker. We actually have 2 other remote workers now. We just brought another one on. So Anne, what's it like virtually working with us?
I love it, but it's also because I feel valued as a virtual remote worker, and with, you know, the home office in Newport News, Virginia, I feel very much part of the team. So I don't feel any distance there with regards to that, because I know I can pick up the phone and help anyone. It just seems like everyone across the board just understands the mission of what you're trying to do here. And I can get somebody new in the warehouse, and we have to be careful because next thing we know, we're talking for 15, 20 minutes because we just all have a very strong connection with everyone here. And I just have never worked for a company that across the board, everyone just had a love and a commitment to like caring about the customer just from start to finish. And, you know, especially on my end, if I need help, I know someone's a phone call away, or, I mean, people get back to me and because they know a customer is waiting or needs help with. It's an incredible experience because I've worked for a lot of companies, you know, that have had to bring in consultants and do training and remind. And just with the team that we have here at the Gardner's Workshop, it just seems like it's innate in everybody, that desire to want to just take care of our customers, whether it's learning or shipping or just, you know, helping them. It's incredible.
Do you think it's that common Gardner gene? You know what I mean? So. It's like that cuddling, caring. I mean, it seems like maybe that's one of the strongholds here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Layne. So Layne lives in a room at our warehouse full of big, huge bulk seeds. Yes. What's it like, Layne?
It is busy, very fast paced, but very fun. And it's so fun for me to be working in something that I'm so passionate about. I love gardening. I love seed starting. I think one of the biggest most important things about customer service is being an expert in the products that you're selling. And I think all of us can say we all are so passionate about seed starting and gardening and helping people that it just makes it an effortless process. But it's very busy, from ordering seeds, bringing new seeds on, organizing what needs to get packed, making sure things don't run out. And then, of course, the customer service aspect we've been talking about. I also respond to people's comments on the live shopping show, which is extremely fast paced. I mean, there are so many comments and questions, and I just have to try to type on my phone as fast as I can in the chat to answer them. And then with our Seed Talk podcast, I get to interact with so many people over on the YouTube comments. And it's really fun to me and rewarding to get to see, as I mentioned before, when things work for people. That's my favorite part, is knowing that what we're doing is really helping and people appreciate it so much.
Well, I mean, it just does me good to hear that everybody is challenged and satisfied at their work. I mean, that's what I lay awake at night. I don't lay awake much at night, but I think is everybody, especially now, and as I've said in the past, that, now that I'm knee deep in this book project, we're in February of 2023, and it won't be out until February of 2024. So these folks, along with the rest of the team that isn't represented here individually, are what their willingness to serve is what allows me to do all this extra stuff that seems to kind of help the business just bump along. So y'all give the rundown on, so what does the Gardner's Workshop offer for anybody that's listening for the first time? What would you say, Rhonda, is something that you would want them to know that not very many people realize or know or understand? Can you think of anything? Whether it's calling in or a blog.
Yeah, calling in. I mean, I get that response all the time. Oh, I'm so surprised somebody answered the phone. I'm like, who are you calling? Well, I guess actually I suffer through that too. Luckily, when you call us, you don't have to push 1 or 2 in any language. So at this
point anyway, we'll be in 2 buildings soon, so that may change.
We're gonna have a phone in the cloud. It'll all be good. That's one thing about our phone system. If one of us is on the phone, I'm not really sure. I think sometimes it rings, but sometimes it goes to voicemail. And so if you don't get a live person, leave us a message and we try to get back to you as soon as possible. So
that's a good one.
But yeah, we have lots of products. Sometimes it can be overwhelming looking at the website, ordering stuff, not knowing what you need or want. I mean, I've had people call in. It's like, I'm just getting ready to start in soil blocking. What do I need? And it's like, you just got to say the heat mat, the grow lights, the things that they need to get started. I don't talk about seeds, but we have lots of products, and apparently a lot of people have fungus gnats these days. So we have natural. If you need to get rid of fungus gnats, we have that, and plenty of it. So.
Awesome. So yeah, I guess the thing that a lot of people don't know is that we pretty much just sell the same tools, seeds, and supplies, the same ones that we use on the farm. That's kind of how we've made the choice of what we feel like is the best selection.
Right.
And what would you add? Is there anything that maybe a common question you get of something that we have or do that people just aren't aware of?
I would just advise everybody who, like me for years, was so intimidated at the thought of being successful, seed starting and growing your own transplants, to make that leap between our courses and our online workshops and the tools. I think that's one thing that sets the Gardner's Workshop apart from other companies. Like, you test everything that is sold. It is time tested. What you're selling, from the seed starting equipment to the seeds, this is what has brought you success. And this is why so many people are becoming successful seed starters. And to just try it and start and not give up, and email us with your questions. Because for the longest time, I just thought anyone who could successfully grow plants from seed had some magic touch. And I think if the one thing I learned between your books and the Gardner's Workshop, it's very simple and straightforward, and it's a really joyful experience to watch a seed germinate and grow into plant and go, there's nothing like it. It's just a wonderful experience.
That's awesome. And you know what I want to say to people, one thing that sets me apart from maybe some other people is I don't fuss over stuff. I am not out there doing CPR and taking extreme measures. I mean, it's like the strong will survive, and that's pretty much what we grow around here. And I think that helps people kind of narrow it down. So what do you think, Layne?
I would just say to people that when you buy from us, you're buying from people that are committed to your success. We have a very generous customer service policy. And like we've mentioned several times, we're all very passionate about what we're doing. So we are going to make sure you're taken care of and that you're successful at whatever it is you're trying to do.
Oh, that's a great way to line that up. So friends, just to kind of wrap this up in a package, we would love to connect with you. You can connect with us, especially Layne and I, over on YouTube on the Seed Talk podcast. Then there's the Field and Garden podcast, which you're listening to now. And then on our website, we have an online garden shop, lots of resources. But friends, we also have a new phone app. And so it's a totally separate store from our website. Think of like almost like a whole separate location. And so we do live shopping shows. Think QVC styled show with us, with our products, giving you like the extra 411, the extra information that you might need. And we do, like Layne said, that's one of the shows that she monitors and answers. We do our best to answer those questions. So you just go to your phone app store and search Gardner's Workshop Live Shop, and you can download it. We do 2 shows a week now for the month of February. I never say we're going to be doing it forever, but that's what we're doing for this month. But you can go into the app and watch previous shows. And so it's really a lot of fun. And we love to hear y'all's comments about what we're doing. And I got 2 comments this morning. People DM us. And I mean, it's just affirming to hear from people because there's like 15 of us now. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to make the ball keep rolling. And it's just so good to hear from customers that how much it's helped them. And, I just affirm what you guys say. I get the same kind of notes and just totally love it, whether they're a student or buying products or both of the above. And so thank you guys for coming on here and, putting a face. So if you're listening to this on a podcast app, you can go over to our YouTube channel and there is a video of the 4 of us and you can actually see us and listen all at the same time. And so I appreciate you girls taking some time out of your day to kind of share a part of the Gardener's Workshop that people don't often see. I mean, they hear me mention you guys, but they don't really get to see kind of what's happening. And just loved you all being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank Ann for answering all those emails. So
right.
I did it for about a month.
Well, and the other thing I wanted to say is Ann does a lot of editorial editing and stuff on our courses she does some really big projects and we're just so grateful. It's like each person has a special past that really applies to their future with us. And so it's a really, really unique group of people. And we're just so grateful for all of it. And we just love developing new stuff for y'all. So please just keep coming back for more and we'll keep on at it. All right, girls, until we meet again. Ciao.
Bye.